Alright guys, now that we've finished our Tool journey, I decided to go ahead and start another band's discography from front to back, and I did put up that poll about a week ago now, so we've gathered 148 votes, and Led Zeppelin won by quite a bit at 35%. Now, if you guys were looking at the poll periodically, you saw that System of a Down was actually winning at in the beginning, and it was neck to neck with Led Zeppelin. The Beatles was right under them, and then Radiohead actually had the least amount of votes by a lot. Radiohead made a comeback, and now at the end here, we got Radiohead at 18, Beatles at 20, System of a Down at 26. But Led Zeppelin just skyrocketed, went to 35%. So we're going to be doing the full discography of Led Zeppelin's from front to back, and just wanted to give a little run through of how I'm going to be doing this. So I'm only going to be doing studio albums, right? So I'm not going to be doing The Song Remains the Same, which I believe is a live album, Coda, The Lost Sessions, Mothership, Celebration Day, none of that. So I am only doing their studio albums, which was crazy looking at it on Spotify here. And just kind of looking at the dates, man, because I'm a big Led Zeppelin fan. I've heard probably 60%, maybe 70% of their whole catalog, right? So this is going to be really to introduce other people to it. And for me I just like to listen to artists' discography front to back. It's just something I like to do and see their growth. So I like that this channel allows me to do that in this sort of format, and I'm also a lot more tuned in than I would usually be if I was just listening to it on my own, right? But just so you guys know, I have Led Zeppelin 1. I've heard this all the way through. I've heard Led Zeppelin 2 all the way through. I've heard Led Zeppelin 4 all the way through. I've heard probably 70% of Led Zeppelin 3. I've heard most of Houses of Holy, maybe 50% of Physical Graffiti. Presence, I'm not sure if I've heard any of these songs, honestly. Same with their last album, In Through the Outdoor. I don't think I've heard any of the songs on there either. And I am going to be doing the regular album, not the deluxe versions. Just a heads up on that as well. But again, I have heard most of these songs, so I will be bringing in guests for most of these albums. I actually have an old cover of Baby I'm Gonna Leave You on my channel. I'll link that down below and at the end of the video as well. So if you guys want to check that out, it's maybe 4 years old at this point, but one of my favorite songs of all time. So if you guys check that out, that'll mean a lot to me. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. But what I was gonna say is, a few years ago, I looked at all the Beatles albums, and similar to Led Zeppelin, I've heard maybe not as much of the Beatles as Led Zeppelin, but I've heard maybe 30%, 40% of their catalog, which is still a lot. And what blew my mind is, the Beatles is regarded as the biggest band of all time, right? By many. And, I guess I just had this preconception that they were just around for so long due to their status and how much they've risen, in the music world. And I just never realized that their career was only 10 years span, and they became the biggest band of all time in that 10-year span, which was insane to me. Just that clicking in my mind. Again, I had heard a lot of their songs, but it just never clicked. And similarly, when I was, looking at the poll here and seeing that Led Zeppelin was going to win, I started looking at their discog, and I had the same realization that, wow, this one of the biggest bands of all time was only active for 10 years as well. They had a run from 69 through 79, and that was it. And in that span, they've released arguably 6 classic albums, right? Led Zeppelin 1 through 4, I think we can all agree on that. Houses of Holy and Physical Graffiti, I think could be regarded as classics. Again, the last 2 albums I'm not familiar with at all. I honestly didn't even know the names of them. But these guys really released Led Zeppelin 1, 2, 3, and 4 in a matter of 3 years. That's really crazy to me. I never knew that. I guess I never, I didn't grow up listening to albums. I grew up listening to songs, and I knew a lot of songs from a lot of different people, from a lot of different genres, but I never was a big album listener, right? Because I caught the very end of the CD era, and even then, I didn't buy any CDs myself. I think I had like 2 CDs growing up, right? So, I grew up mostly in the LimeWire age, right, where you would just download songs. And that's how I became familiar with music. And then Guitar Hero came out, and that opened, a lot within the rock world for me. I was already very familiar with rock, but that opened me up to a lot. And that was elementary school for me. So in elementary school, my iPod had anything from Elvis Presley, the Beatles, Led Zeppelin, to, a bunch of other shit. So it's just crazy to me that they were only active for 10 years, like really active, right? I mean, they do their own things now. Sometimes they'll perform and stuff, whatever. But that's really crazy to me. And I guess that was because of John Bonham when he passed away, right? But anyways, guys, that's all. I just wanted to make a little video to explain what I'm going to be doing, how I'm going to be doing it. I'll probably do maybe 2 albums a month. I'll try to do that, because 1 a month is just going to take a long time, and I want to move on and go to other bands as well. So I want to do it relatively quickly, but I don't want to do it too quickly, so I'll try to do 2 per month. I think that's fair. So yeah, guys, keep a lookout for that. I'll probably be doing Led Zeppelin 1 within a couple weeks or so. So keep a lookout for that, and start thinking of what other band you guys would like me to do. It's going to be a while. I got to get through all these albums first, but then we're going to move on, and then I'll open it up to you guys to make the decision, and we'll go from there. So, hope you guys will join me for this journey. It's going to be fun, man. I love Led Zeppelin. I think they're all fantastic, and I'm excited to show a lot of my friends that are not as familiar with them as I am, and to discover all the stuff that I don't know about them yet. The albums I haven't heard, the songs I haven't listened to, and just take a deeper listen, right? Because again, I wouldn't be listening to these songs the same, or these albums the same, if I was just listening to them on my own. So this channel allows me to really kind of, dive into the music as much as possible, and really concentrate on everything going on music wise, and nothing else. So that's gonna be awesome, man. I'm looking forward to it. Hope to see you guys in all of these videos, and I'll catch you guys there. So this has been Samurai. Arigato and sayonara.